Hello, my name is Rodney. I'm from the PO Gamer Creator YouTube channel, and this is my Halloween special. It is Halloween Day that I'm releasing this video, and I am going to talk about my favorite way to play horror video games. This may be different than most people's because, and a lot of people, they like to sit in a dark room and get something like Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill or one of the Resident Evil games and they can't play it in the dark. It's not my favorite way. It's a good way. I'm not saying anything bad about that. My favorite way, well, I've got them all in cases, but is like this. It is on a portable handheld. Doesn't matter if you choose Vita, PSP, 3DS, or DS, or Game Boy Advance. Doesn't matter which you choose, they all have great choices. And the reason why I enjoy playing horror video games this way, think about it. You get your little device, doesn't matter which one you get. Say you're playing the Game Boy Micro. You go into a room, turn the lights down low, put you some headphones in, just sit there in the dark. And if it's raining outside and a stormy night, even better. I've actually played that way before, and holy cow, it was great. And you're sitting there, and the only light you can see is the glow of that little screen in front of you. And this is a little small. I mean, I don't really recommend playing this for extremely long periods of time. This one's better on the go. I recommend the Game Boy Advance SP, which is the clamshell one. But this is all you got. Play this for the game. But the PSP, great screen. It's big, bright, and what I like about it is when you're playing it, and the same thing with this or the 3DS or with the Vita, because the screens are so bright. When you turn them down low for the dark room, but they're so bright that it affects your vision. You really can't see what's in the room around you if you have the lights down low. That's to me, that's probably the best part. You get to sit there and you're like, and if you hear something and you look up, even if you if you put the screen against your chest or turn the screen off, you really can't see in the room. It's still dark. It's still spooky. So now you see my favorite way to play a horror video game. Now I'm going to share with you a few options that you may or may not know about to play on your systems. First, I'm going to start with the oldest, and this is on the original Game Boy, so it will not play on this. But oddly enough, it will play on this. And that is Gargoyle's Quest. If you've never heard of this, it is not from the Gargoyles animated TV show by Disney. You're playing the red guy that's in Ghosts and Goblins. The really annoying one that comes down and kills you all the time. You get to play as him. That's awesome. I love the game. It's an adventure game. It's not really scary, but it's got gargoyles and monsters and stuff like that in it. That's a good one to start with if you're younger, or if you know somebody that's younger and you don't want to completely terrify them. Okay, moving on to another game. If you are a fan of old role-playing games on the PC, they released some of those on the Game Boy, and this is actually a pretty good one. It's really I was a big fan of, and that is Shadowgate Classic. This will play on this also, or the Game Boy Color. It's actually a Game Boy Color game. Very good. It's slow moving and it's more atmospheric. Lots of reading. So if you're not a fan if you want more action, things like that, this isn't for you. But if you want something that's like a slow burn and you're trying to figure out things and the way old PC games were, this is a really good choice. Okay. Now I'm going to move to, I guess it's Game Boy Advance. Because I didn't grab a lot of games because I don't want this to be a humongously long video. But you're going to notice the theme here because there's a few of these on the list. This is Castlevania. This is the Circle of the Moon on the Game Boy Advance. That's actually what was in my Game Boy Advance Macro. Very good game. I believe this is the first one that's released on the Game Boy Advance. There are 3, and I highly recommend all of them. It doesn't matter which one you pick up, they're all really good. I think this one people consider the best. I'm not really sure. The reason why this is in my Game Boy Advance is because I'm actually playing through all 3 of them, and I want to play through them in order. So I'm playing this one first. I haven't beat it yet. Very good though. If you like, it's more of the Metroidvania style to where, yeah, it's more like I cannot remember the name of the one on the PSP on the PlayStation 1. Symphony of the Night? I think that's what it was. Yeah, it's more like that, where you have a map and you can go here to there and stuff like that. But still very good. All 3 of them on the Game Boy Advance are very, very good. Okay, now I am going to move to the DS. I'll show you a few games from that. Okay. Like before, many people love the Resident Evil games. They actually released the remake of the original one on the DS. And that's Resident Evil DS, and it stands for Deadly Silence. It has a lot of the things that they cut out that's not in the PlayStation version. I like when you go in the first room, when you go up the stairs, there's actually a hidden door you can go into. And Knuckles goes into his graveyard. And there's little things like that they've added into it. The touch screen adds a little, there's like a menu, so you don't have to keep hitting start and going into that to search your inventory and stuff like that. You can just look at the bottom screen and see it. Very good. Helps a lot with this game because the map's so big. You can view the map on it. Don't have to keep hitting start. So it adds a lot to the game, I think. But a very, very good game. All right. Now another game on the DS is this one has, oh god, how many endings does this thing have? I don't even remember now. There's quite a few. I haven't even got all of them. I've only gotten 1 or 2 of them. And that is 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. A lot of people got 999. This actually is the first game in a trilogy. Do I have all 3 of them? I believe I do. Yes, I do have all 3 of them. But this one, a lot of atmosphere, really good story. Trying to, don't really want. It's just play it. I don't want to say really anything because it's a very story-driven game, very, very atmospheric, very good. Highly, highly recommend it. And the worst part about this is that this one was released on the DS. Part 2 was released on the. Was it released on the Vita? No, Part 3 is on the Vita. And Part 2 was on. They jumped platforms. It's like if you want to play all 3 games, you can't get them all 3 on the DS. It's like if you have a DS, you can get the first one, and then I know the third one's on the Vita. So it's kind of like you got to have 2 different systems to play all 3. But I highly recommend playing all of them. I've started on this one. Volume 1, Zero Escape. That's the series, is what it's called. This is the volume 1 of it. Okay, now I'm going to move to the PSP. Here we have another Castlevania game. This is the game that we finally got. That it was released on the PC Engine, which is the equivalent to the TurboGrafx 16 over in Japan. And I believe it was on their CD system, wasn't it? I believe so. But that is Castlevania Dracula, the Dracula X Chronicles. This is actually the Rondo of Blood from Japan that we never got, and we finally got it out on the PSP. Very good game. It's more like the original Castlevania style, to where you have levels. You start and you go through the level and you complete it. Then you go the next one and you go and you complete it. Good thing about this though is you can actually unlock because this is basically a updated graphics of Rondo of Blood. But if you do certain things in the game, you can actually unlock Rondo of Blood and you can unlock Symphony of the Night, which is awesome. It's really just 2 games, but if you read the back, you're like, oh, you can get all 3. Well, not really. Dracula X Chronicles is Rondo of Blood with just updated graphics, but you can unlock the Rondo of Blood original version on this. Highly, highly recommend this if you have a PSP. All right, now I am going to move to the 3DS, and this is actually a very interesting game. It is called Spirit Camera. And this game has fluctuated in price drastically. Originally it was worth nothing, then it skyrocketed, and then it went back down some, and the price fluctuates in this game so much. One thing about it though, if you do find the game, make sure that it has this little booklet with it, because this booklet has, like, these are basically AR cards that you kind of need to do the game. So like you point at the book and you can different things and like you see different things. So that's kind of important. But this is a game to where think of name of the game, Fatal Frame. It's a Fatal Frame-esque game. It's basically you have your 3DS like this. Well, you go to cameras here, and ghosts appear. You're taking pictures of them to capture them or exercise them. I'm not really sure which, but it's very interesting because you have these things in your environment around you. You can't really play this one in the dark, but you can play it in low light. So when you're looking around with this, your DS exposes the ghost that's in the room with you. That is really awesome. That actually adds a lot of atmosphere to the game, I believe. Okay, another game on the DS is actually one of my favorite horror video games. This is not based off a movie. It was released on the PSP, well, actually it was released on the PC, and then it's like an RPG Maker game that they did. And then they released a version of the PC, and then they released a version of the PSP, but it never got a physical copy in the United States. I have it on my PSP. I played it and beat it, got all the endings. It's great, but I always hated it because I never got a physical copy. Well, they finally released a physical copy on the 3DS, and that is Corpse Party. Holy cow. They've updated the graphics. It's the same game. They didn't take out anything. I know people are like, oh, they took out this or that, and they didn't. It is awesome. Oh gosh, okay. The game basically, the main characters is boys who, well, actually no, you take the role of quite a few different characters in the game. You move around doing things. There's this school that, okay, start over, tell you about the game. A girl is about to leave the neighborhood. And all your friends, you gather in the classroom that you've all shared together, and you do this ritual that one girl found on the internet. They all have this piece of paper. There's this paper doll. They all hold it, and they all pull it apart. And as long as they keep the piece of paper with them, they'll all be friends forever and everything like that. So they're trying to say, hey, we'll always be friends. Don't worry that you're moving away. Well, when they do this, they like an earthquake happens, and then when they wake up, they are in the school looks dilapidated, and like they can't really see outside the windows, and everything's really dark. Well, they've been teleported to another school, and it's haunted, and there's ghosts chasing you. You can't fight back. Nothing like that. You have to survive. Next, I'm going to go to the Vita. The Vita has some great games that you've got that they've given away through PlayStation Plus and everything like that on it that are really good, really scary. I love the screen on this thing. It is really good. But they've also had there's great physical games. One, I believe they tacked on Silent Hill to this game just to try to give it some notoriety, like to say, oh well, let's tack on Silent Hill to this to make it seem a little bit, so to kind of get fans that series to buy it, and that is Silent Hill: Book of Memories. It's about a book that changes the past. It's not about Silent Hill at all. So, if you're a fan of Silent Hill and you're what you're looking for, this is not the game. But if you want a game to where it's kind of got a little creepy stuff in it, that's actually pretty good action game, pick it up. I mean, it's not extremely expensive. It has some good little scares in it. You're fighting monsters. I mean, there's not much else that I can say that to try to get you to get this game, but but it actually is a pretty good adventure game, and it's got some scares in it. It's not a Silent Hill game though. It is. So if you're looking for Silent Hill, that atmosphere and that town and everything, you can't get that. You're not going to get that from this, but you will get a pretty good game. And now, I kind of felt bad for adding this one to the list, but it's actually part 3 of this. So, if you have never, you don't have to play part 2 to Corpse Party. Part 2, like I said, was like part 1. It's released only on the PSP, and it's what they call a visual novel. It's not really. It's not. It's a drastic turn from that game. The original Corpse Party is more like a RPG that you really can't fight in. You're going around collecting things. Very good game. Part 2 is a visual novel. Really, you move around and you're basically reading the story. And there's just things happen, and there's not a lot of deviation from the main line. I mean, you can make it the wrong choice and get a game over screen, but you're not going to be like, oh man, I'm running from this thing. Okay, let me get over here and walk around it and go back. Nah, it's like, okay, you have a fork in the road. Like you have 2 options to do. You want to do this or do this. If you choose this, you die. If you do this, you get to go on. So basically, when you die, you just load your save back up and you choose the other option. It's a good game, but you don't have to play it to play this. That is Corpse Party Blood Drive. They explain the stuff at the beginning of this and what happens in part 2. The thing is I can't really say anything about this without kind of giving something away that happens in this. So, trust me on this. This has better graphics than the PSP version. They are a little bit better than the 3DS version also, but this is a newer game. It's in 3D, moving around. Holy cow, is this really good? I haven't beat this yet. I've played halfway through it, and what I do is after my son goes to sleep at night, I turn off the lights, one, so he doesn't wake up. I put my headphones in, and I'll play this. And it is really creepy because you got these little girls giggling, and you like the ghosts. There's these little because basically there's these ghosts of little school children. That's in that one and in this one. They giggle and like they talk to you and everything. And this is in Japanese. Like both of them are. No, neither of them have English translations. You have to read subtitles. I think it's better that way because they're saying something you don't really know what they're saying, and that kind of I think that adds to a little bit to the creepiness. But if you like atmosphere, creepy games, like a feeling of, oh my God, what's going on? We're never going to get out of this. Play these games. So good. I wish part 2 got a physical copy. I hope now that this one does really good and that they release a physical copy to part 2, because I'd love to have all 3 an actual physical copy of them. But if you don't, you do miss something. You do miss out on something if you don't play part 1 of this one. They do explain things to you and how you got to the point that you're in, but you're missing out on this big struggle that you do in this part here. So, and it's the same characters. So that's one of the good things. You have the same characters from this one into this one. It's a continuation. It's not alternate universe like that. This takes place. Part 2 happens. Then this happens. This is the special edition. You don't get this normally, but you don't need all that. This has like a soundtrack and a book and all this other stuff in it. But because I'm a huge fan of this series, that's the reason why I got the special editions. But if you get those, play them in order. I do recommend playing part 2, but you don't have to. If you're not a fan of the visual novels, don't get it, because it is a little slower, and you do need a PSP to play them. I believe they will play on the PlayStation TV. I'm not sure. I will have to confirm that. I will put a link. I'll put a descriptive thing right here to tell you if it does. But you may be able to play it on the Vita too, if you have a Vita. If you don't have a Vita, I do recommend a Vita. They are very good. The screen is awesome, and they're actually, a lot of places are actually starting to put them on clearance, like Target and stuff like that. So if you can find one, get one. They're actually a lot better than people give them credit for. So, like I said, that's my favorite way to play video games. To play horror video games is to play it on portable, dark room at night. So, it doesn't matter what system you have, you can always have an option to play horror games in the dark by yourself, because the headphones add a lot of atmosphere to it. You can just sit there and block everything else out. You got that dark room, and just what happens in the game, because to me, you get so much more into it. It draws you in, and the darkness and everything just adds to it. If you're easily scared, maybe don't turn the lights completely out. Maybe dim the lights, or just turn on a lamp in the corner or something. Like right now, the way with all my lights on, I have on right now for my video, this would be horrible for me to play. I've got the ceiling, I got a light on above me, I've got 2 spotlights on either side of me. This is not how I would like to play, but turn those spotlights off, turn this light off, wait till it's about 2 a.m., start playing. Yeah. Now that is going to be fun. But hope you guys enjoyed it. This is my Halloween special, how I like to play my horror video games. Hope you enjoyed it, and till next time. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked the video, go ahead and give me a like. If you'd like to see more from me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I release at least 2 videos a week. Most of the time I release more. Leaving a comment actually helps me a lot. Helps me know what you'd like, dislike, or would like to see on my channel. So go ahead and leave me a comment. If you would like to get in touch with me, have any questions, anything like that, you can go ahead and email me at vmail@poldgamer.com. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you for watching, and until next time.